Hey everybody, it's Leslie from WeLoveJones.com, and I'm coming to you today with a video, our homeschool update for August. In our household, we went back to school in August, first Monday in August. I forget what day of the week that what day of the month that was, but I know this is 2 weeks late. I know it's 2 weeks into September, and I'm just now getting the August update video up. So let me give you some background as to why. Excuse me. My camera broke, and it took Amazon a week to send that to us. It wasn't Amazon's fault. It was the buyer we bought it from. So I broke my nice DSLR Nikon camera, and now I have some cheap Chinese knockoff. So, but what I like about it is that it's got a flip screen, so I can actually see whether I'm lined up in the shot or not. And the other camera, I couldn't do that. Anyway, then we went on vacation. So I broke my camera. It took a week for it to get here. And we didn't order it right away. I mean, we thought about it over the weekend. We ordered it like on Sunday night or something, and then it took till that Friday to get it. So, and then that following week we went on vacation, and so that's why there's a 2-week delay in getting this video out to you. But I didn't want to skip doing a monthly update. So I have a bunch of notes. So let me just give you some little background now that you know why this video is so late. I'm going to follow a format for the rest of the school year when I do these homeschool updates, and that format's going to be, I'm going to tell you how many lessons we did that month. BJU, which is the core curriculum I'm using, expects you to do 20 lessons, or 20 school days rather. 20 lessons equals 20 school days a month minimum, for it to count as a month of school. I mean, they don't explicitly say that, but if you break it out across 9 months, or across 160 or 180 lessons, that's what it breaks down to, 20 lessons a month. And so I'll tell you how many lessons out of 20 we did that month. Then I'll give you an update on our organizational systems and just kind of brief you on what we changed. So I've got a video showing you my organizational systems, and so every month you'll see what I tweaked, or if I threw out the system and started over. Then I'll go by curriculum and by subject, and I'll do Bible last because I know some people who watch my videos are secular, and so I'll end with Bible as the last subject, even though it's usually the first subject we do in the day. When I do these homeschool updates, I'll put Bible at the end. And then if you want to know what we're reading week to week with my son, I tend to post that more on Facebook and Instagram, so I won't cover that here. Just because, my son's so young and his books are this thick. There's just too much that we read per month to kind of throw it in here. This video would be super long if I did that. And they're library books, so I don't always have them at the end of the month because we check books in and out. So so that's it. I'm just gonna jump right in, following that format I just gave you. So out of 20 lessons, we actually did 25 because I wanted to account for the week that we were going to be on vacation. So that's what we did, 25 instead of 20 lessons, because and doubling up wasn't really that difficult actually on the academic. I doubled up on the academic and I doubled up on everything except Spanish and piano, I think, actually. And PE, I didn't double up on PE. We did 25 out of 20 lessons, and it wasn't difficult. It's the beginning of the school year, so it's just easier to double up then. You're gonna hear my son in the background, by the way. That's who's screeching. So that's that. The pacing was great, again, because it's the beginning of the school year, so it wasn't difficult to double up. And my son's in preschool, so I mean, his schoolwork is just not that rigorous. And I don't think he really noticed on days when we doubled up. So my organizational system is working out great. The organizational systems I set up at the beginning of the year have just worked out beautifully, and I want to thank the YouTube community for that, because I follow homeschool moms on YouTube, and so I've learned a bunch of systems, and I just kind of take what I liked and didn't, that's what we all do, right? We take other people's ideas that we liked, we modify them to fit our needs, and then we go from there. So, and I did a video on that if you want to check that out. I'm not going to bore you with it here. Forgive me, I have allergies and my medication has not kicked in, my Singulair and my Allegra. But the only thing I modified is that instead of sticking every day's work in the teacher's manual itself, I just put it in a separate folder by day. So I organized the year, then I organized by month for the year, then I organized by week, and then I added by day because it was getting crowded sticking each day's worksheets in the corresponding pages of the teacher's manual. And that got really complicated on days I doubled up anyway. So that's when I added an extra folder, and it's worked out great. I really only did it that last week of August, but it worked out great. And now that I'm doing it in September, it's working out great. And the other thing I did is, I'm sure you can see, I'm actually in my dining room right now. I'm not in the living room. We kind of do school in between the two rooms. We kind of start out in our dining room and we end in the living room, or we start out here, go there, and then come back here. So I moved the pocket chart. What am I doing? There. I moved the pocket chart to the dining room and a few other things. Let me move the camera, see if I can capture that. A few other things made it over here. Not everything. Most things are still in the living room. But just to kind of account for that back and forth, and it's easier to kind of keep this out of my daughter's reach. My daughter was playing with all of these cards, with all of these cards and bending them, and I didn't laminate any of this, so it was becoming a problem. So I just tweaked things around, and yeah, you'll see the difference when I do future day in the life videos, when I homeschool them, how things are a little laid out different. BJU academic curriculum. It's this Footsteps for Fours. Whoops, here we go. Footsteps for Fours is the BJU curriculum. So my feedback on it so far, being only 25 lessons in, is the circle time is working out great, although it keeps getting abbreviated. So I do less of the music now than I did at the beginning. And I kind of move, when we do circle time, kind of moves around, so it isn't the best transition. What has turned out to be the best transition kind of from morning time to school time has been breakfast. So I was, the first 2 weeks of school, doing circle time, then coming into the kitchen doing Bible with him, and then going back to this academic curriculum. And that worked okay. But then when we started to double up, it started to be a problem. And so what I started doing is, I have, I get him dressed. We have our morning routine, hygiene, that kind of stuff, getting dressed. We come to the dining room table. He eats breakfast. That's when we do Bible. Then we go do circle time and do the academic stuff. And an abbreviated version of the circle time. And then we usually come back in the dining room and finish out anything that requires him sitting at a table. Although sometimes we just do it on the floor over there. So it just depends on what we're doing. And so we're, because it was getting messy to sit out there on the floor and do school. And my son started to write on the carpet with dry erase markers. And dry erase marker does not come out really well out of carpet. You would think it does, but it doesn't. So I've learned the hard way to just come back to the dining room, sit at the table, and finish schoolwork there, especially on projects that where he does a lot of cutting, or because construction paper just kind of gets everywhere. So the CD is better. One of my big complaints about the BJU K3 curriculum, which is what we did last year from beginning to end, was the CD was awful. The music was just awful. And there wasn't a lot of variety. It was like the same group of kids singing the songs. It was horrible. I mean, I don't know anything about music, but I don't know if it was off key or off pitch or or just the production quality was bad. I don't know, but I just did not like it. My son did, so it didn't matter that I didn't like it, but it was painful. It was so painful. This school year, the K4 curriculum has a better CD. There's a lot more on the CD this year than last year, and you get 2 CDs instead of one. One CD is for Music with Honey for rhythm and movement, and the main CD that has all the circle time music, all the music that corresponds to specific lessons. And it doesn't just have music, it has listening skill like tasks. So like in lesson, I think lesson 20, there was like a read aloud in the CD, and he had to put together sequence cards based on the story he was listening to, stuff like that. I'm really enjoying the CD. There's a lot more variety. Some of the songs kind of remind me of last year, but most of them have been really great. I like the diversity of the stuff that's on the CD. So I'm a happy mama there. I've had to, so if you know anything about BJU's curriculum, you know that it's written for a group. It's not written specifically for homeschooling families. It's written for an actual preschool, a private Christian preschool. So there are some activities that I can't do because it's meant for a group, and I only have one child that's doing the curriculum this year. So that I do want to say that of course I have to modify some of the activities or just omit them when the group activities come up. So I do want to say there's that. I've actually been surprised with how multicultural it's been. Not like overwhelmingly so, but it does have the cast of characters has some diversity in them. So let me see if I can move this around. So here's the Martin family and their dog Max, and then there are these woodland creatures, and then over here are Marcos and Caroline, and Caroline's Asian and Marcos is Hispanic, and so there's been some diversity there. There's some diversity in the read alouds in the curriculum too, and so I've found that I just liked it. So I wanted to comment on that. As far as how the academic curriculum is going otherwise, I will say that my son, I've learned a few things. My son is very praise motivated, and so I had a long list of motivators that I had kind of planned out, like cheers, and I have an instructional hacks video out on YouTube if you want to check that out. And on there I explain, all these things I had researched to try to keep my son's attention. But what I have learned are there's 3 main things that will keep my son focused on school on bad days. And those 3 things are praise. He's very praise motivated because he's 3. If I just kind of give him a big bear hug when I see him trail off, or if I just give him some praise for the task he just completed, he's more motivated to just keep going with school, and we can finish the school day. He did love the smelly spots. It's just where you take a little chapstick, cheap scented chapstick, put it on like right here, and then when he's doing a writing task, he can kind of smell it. And stickers. He's very sticker motivated. And I knew the sticker thing from last year, but the praise, I've kind of upped my praise focus this year, and has worked out great. I do want to comment on the first 25 lessons of the curriculum. It's not super math intensive yet. There's a number line that's come up, and I'm sure the math will ramp up. I mean, there is math, but it's not super intensive. So they seem to have more of a letter recognition focus in the beginning and a writing focus in the beginning, which is fine. But math is his weakest subject, and so I like that it's not math focused in the beginning because it builds confidence. But at the same time, it's kind of like, that's the thing I need to work on, is the math. So yeah, and then there's a lot of mini read alouds usually so I dig that. So anyway, the next curriculum, let me move that out of the way, the health curriculum, and I'm using this USDA that's free, grow it, try it, like it curriculum. This is the teacher's manual. It's not very thick. What did we do last? We did peaches last month in August, and so it has a very specific format. So you have exposure to that new fruit or vegetable. You have the child cut, touch, play with that fruit, try it if you can get them to eat it, which I got my son to eat it, but he didn't like the peach, or at least he didn't like the texture. I can't say that he gave it a good try to eat it. He didn't. I mean, he just put it in his mouth and kind of went, ugh. But anyway, then there's like a grow it type. You either try to grow a peach, or you do arts and crafts about understanding how peaches grow. So we did a lot about talking about how peaches grow on trees. And then there's a DVD that they watch on one day, and then the curriculum on a different day. It focuses on the dietary guidelines. And there's a big poster. See if you can see on my. There's a big poster that I put kind of above the stove. Yeah, so and he learns about the dietary guidelines that the government sets out. Now we're vegan, so I have to do a lot of modifying when we got to the dietary guidelines in the curriculum, but it wasn't terrible to adjust. So I'm pretty happy with it. I like the pacing. I like how gentle it is. The DVD was actually great. Not like Sesame Street quality, but it was surprisingly well produced, and it had a very specific format. There's a lot of chanting and a lot of music that follows a specific formula, and it's predictable and it repeats itself. I think I already did a video on this, so I won't go over it, but we've moved on to yellow squash, and so that's what we're on next. And so this teacher's manual has a lot of the visuals in it, so I'll show you. So here's what we're doing right now, the visuals for this, and there's usually more than one visual per fruit or vegetable, and I'm pretty happy with it. I have no complaints. Spanish. So this is the main curriculum that I'm using for Spanish. My son's a preschool child, so I've torn out the worksheets I wanted to do for the year. So because it goes up to first grade, there's a bunch of worksheets in here that I'm not using. We like it. My son is very worksheet oriented. So far he hasn't had to write in any of the worksheets, so I may not need to buy one for my daughter, but we'll see. I think he would learn better if I just let him write on them. I mean, the book was like $12. It's really not that big a deal to buy another one. So anyway, but he needs to hear it, and so I bought to supplement that. I have this, cost me like $2 on a store called Dirt Cheap. And then I have this, is music, folklore songs. And this composer, Jose Luis Orozco, we hear his music a lot on Pandora when we drive in our minivan. And so to supplement, to have audio, I have, on Amazon, I have discovered that the corresponding CD that goes with this book is actually on Amazon. So whenever we cover a song out of there, I can just go on Amazon and find it and play it. Then we have Pandora, and then we have on Amazon as well. If you have Prime, you can listen to 2 of the Whistle Fritz. Whistle Fritz was one of the curriculums we considered using this year, but because of price point, we decided not to use it. But you can listen to the CDs for free. And so if I can find a song to complement what we're learning, what vocabulary we're learning, then I'll play it. Sometimes it's just music that has nothing to do with what we're covering, and that's fine. But I'm trying to keep things more DVD, I don't have any Spanish DVDs. We have a lot of music, but not a lot of DVDs. I don't have any Spanish DVDs. I won a DVD in a raffle on the Mami Maestra blog. I won a DVD on the vowels in Spanish, and my son has actually really been enjoying that. So Spanish is going okay, not great, but okay, better than last year, so I'm happy. Piano. I'm using Piano by Letter, and I'm starting to regret this purchase. And it's not the curriculum's fault, it's my fault. I'm really bad at piano, so in order to teach it well, you have to be able to model the song and play it and have the song be recognizable for your child. So when I've tried to play Itsy Bitsy Spider or London Bridge, I can't get it to sound correctly, and so I'm just that untalented. And so I don't read music. This curriculum doesn't require that you read music, but I can't play the songs. So my husband said that he is going to start taking over on Thursdays for 10 minutes. He's gonna, play the song for him so he can hear what it's like, show him what to do, and then I'll take it from there. Because it's really bad, guys. I can't do it. I just can't. It's so bad. Total lack of talent. So piano is going horribly. So, he's been exposed to it, but I can't get the songs to sound like the songs, so he has no idea what I'm trying to teach him. And I can sing it, but I can't play the way I sing it. So anyway, moving on to PE. PE has been going great. I knew PE would work out because I'm repeating what I did last year, and that's doing my high intensity interval workout from my Trainer in Your Back Pocket membership on Fridays, which is the day I designated as his PE day, as my son's PE day. And so that works great because my son loves high interval training workout. Because there's a lot of jumping and it's just very active. It's very appropriate for a preschooler. So I get my workout in a way that doesn't drive me crazy. So that doesn't drive us crazy because, he gets to participate. And it's a workout he likes. If I do upper body or any of the other workouts, he's not that into it because it's not as active. It's not as fun. Last subject is Bible. So this is the main curriculum we're using. Now I have torn this workbook apart. This is my daughter's. My son's workbook, I've already torn it apart. But it's very colorful. And again, I've done curriculum videos so you can see what I'm using. And I'm just going to show you some of the work he's done so far. He's done other work, but here's some of the stuff he's done. It doesn't say it's for interactive notebooking, but it's kind of how you can use it if you plan it right. There's that. So we're liking it so far. Here is baby Moses in the basket. It's so hard to line these shots up. Here's baby Moses. My daughter woke up. I gotta hurry. Here's David and Goliath. So here's Goliath, and then he falls. With David. So anyway, some examples of some of the worksheets are there. In this binder, I've also put the prayer we're on, the Bible verse we're doing for that unit. And so this is kind of my supplement to that workbook. And this curriculum comes with, and I found this annoying at first, but it has actually worked out beautifully. These like 12 by 18 posters that go with each lesson. So each day you have this gigantic image to talk to with your child about either the Bible story you're covering or the virtue you're covering. So the curriculum is divided out into 13 units that cover a different virtue or virtue value. So for example, the first virtue is not courage. The one we're on right now is courage. The first virtue is obedience, and then it's courage, then it's kindness and stuff like that. And so there's either a Bible story that you discuss that day in an abbreviated preschool version of that story and the visuals on the poster. On the back of the poster, so I hold up the poster, I read the back to my child, and then we talk about the image. And it's worked out great. The size of the poster has actually been helpful in keeping my son's attention. So I get now why it's so huge. I think if it was just out of a book, he'd lose interest. But because it's so large, and they're detailed images, there's a lot to talk about per card. And some of the cards are just like a story about courage, or a story of a child his age, either a boy or girl, a child his age, and a situation where they had to be courageous or be obedient or be kind or whatever. And so we have just really I've surprised at the amount of discussion it has generated with my son. So on that aspect, I'm happy. They're biblically sound. I've had to do some modifying here and there, a little tweaking because I'm Catholic, but very little. There is prayer that, it says you should pray at the beginning before you start Bible study that day. But being Catholic, I have in Catholicism, there's very prescriptive prayers, and I love those prayers. So I still use Seton to kind of focus us on prayer. And I wanted him to learn, the Hail Mary, the Lord's, everybody knows the Lord's Prayer. But I want to make sure he hears them often. So I have that to supplement for Bible. The BJU curriculum is delightfully multicultural as well. As you can see, these guys are not blonde and blue-eyed. Some of the curriculums out there, everyone in the images looks blonde and blue-eyed. Like, this story took place in the Middle East. The people in the pictures should not be blonde and blue-eyed. So I'm very pleasantly surprised at the how ethnic the images are. I'm very happy about that, because sometimes you get something and you're like, no one at this time looked like this, and just, why are these people all Caucasian? So I'm liking the multicultural, or how accurate, more or less, the depictions and the images are. Where am I? The CD. So the CD did come with the kit that I bought. I bought this kit used. It's not terrible, but it's not unlike the academic curriculum that I use for BJU. The Bible curriculum has a CD, but the music is not as seamlessly integrated into the Bible curriculum. So that's kind of a bummer. So I don't use it as much, because there aren't as many prompts in the teacher's instructions to play the music. So sometimes I just forget. So we're not listening to it every day, I think, like the way you're meant to. So if you have ideas on how to improve on that, please comment below. And that's it. I've covered everything. I'm looking at my notes, so forgive me. And that's it. I've covered everything. If you have any specific questions on anything that I'm using or how it's going, please let me know. Please share a link to your homeschool update video if you posted one, because I catch it. I find these helpful. It's kind of, I know there's a virtual homeschool co-op, which I've never participated in, but, watching your homeschool updates have been very helpful to me. And so, please share so that we can all, it's nice to have these to count on every month, because you feel less alone in this homeschool journey when you have these homeschool update videos to look at. At least I get a lot from them when you guys post them. So please share. And like I said, if you have a question or a comment on anything that I have covered, please let me know. And if you have any feedback on ways I can make these more helpful to you, please let me know as well. Please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Take care.